morning. It's Linda again. This Hip.Chik.Rev revival thing is prolific. I talked yesterday about my time at the state school, and I thought I would share some of the people that I met there, that I loved there. One is Carol Jean. I'm going to read you something about her. My first memory of Carol Jean is when a staff at the Fort Worth State School brought her up to me and said, "Listen, she can speak French." And Carol Jean said, "Oui, oui." Well, I was not as impressed as I wanted to be. I'd actually thought I was going to hear some French, oui, oui. But what did impress me was Carol Jean herself. A 30-something woman with sharp blue eyes and a semi-scowl on her face. I could sense that beneath that grouchiness, though, there was a twinkle and a knowing. Even though the folks I worked with there had very low IQs and lacked some basic skills, I found that there is a knowing in them that calls for a closer look. It's as if the IQ and the academic skills and all the other stuff is not impeding their souls, and the soul searches for meaning to life. I envy those who have it, and I decided to get to know Carol Jean. As luck would have it, she was placed in my adult daily living classroom the very next day. And I enjoyed teaching her simple arts and crafts and how to get music out of the radio and daily stuff like that. We got on really well, and so well that I began to take her out to our house, to the park, to McDonald's. One day we were in line at McDonald's, and a woman passed us with her tray of food. Carol Jean looked at it, made a clicking sound. "That stuff will kill you," she said. Quite an ad for the cafe. My son came to love Carol Jean, too. He tolerated her oddness, her little oddities, her little idiosyncrasies. One was that she would hug him up to her really tight and just squeeze. Then she would push him away firmly and say, "Now go on." One of Carol Jean's tricks was to take off her underwear without removing her outerwear. I've never figured out how she did it. One day the class and my assistant and I were lined up outside the museum waiting to go in when suddenly a pair of pink panties flew by my head. Try as I might, I couldn't stifle the giggle. I tried. Of course, I had to admonish her for that, telling her it's not appropriate for social events. And all the while, I was laughing so hard inside. Now, Carol Jean had a heart condition. That was her only physical issue. No, she had diabetes and a heart condition. She was spry and wiry, and she could cuss like a sailor. She did it often, too. We continued our friendship until long after I left the state school. Then one day, she went in for a routine dental procedure. She was put under general anesthesia, and she never woke up. It was just too much for her heart. She died. A lot of people grieved that day. None more than me. Yet I still think of her, Carol Jean B., and I giggle. Peace.